So hi and welcome to a very chaotic version of Craft With Me. This is real life footage of what my house looks like after doing crafting all day, trying to make this junk journal, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. But this is part 2 for the storybook digital kit that I've made, which is available on my Etsy shop. There's links in the description box below. So to start off, I'm just taking out all the bits that I'd put in, and this is now me making a makeshift guide for punching holes into my spine to put the spine together. I thought I'd try something different and make a visible spine. So I was actually watching some YouTube videos on how to do this. So I decided instead of purchasing a guide line, I would just make one, which in theory is probably a decent idea. I would recommend that you don't follow this as a guide. So that's me pretending to know what I was doing, working out measurements for the holes and being more and more confused. So I've perhaps counted these several times. This is me thinking about it, trying to figure it out and going again. And then I think in the end I just went for it and just pretended that I knew what I was doing, which you will see later in the video that I don't know what I'm doing. Here I am again, being very confused about how I am meant to do this, figuring it out as I go. I tried clipping the papers together, so I thought that might help. So I wanted to give you a realistic representation of what it can be like sometimes to do crafting. That's me confidently putting the holes into my papers, which inevitably will be all in the wrong place. And I also forgot to check whether the papers were the right way up, and so when I eventually do sew these together, some of them will be upside down. So now I'm going on to make the cover, and I'm just using an Amazon packaging. And again, I was watching a video online on how to do this visible spine, and I cut the cover out confidently and did it wrong. So again, if you're watching this to follow along, I suggest you don't follow along with me. This is me measuring the covers, and afterwards realised that the two should have been joined together. And they are not. So I just worked with it. So these are some jelly plate prints that I've done recently with a friend, and this is the one thing that I think turned out quite well in my journal. I used these jelly plate prints to cover the book covers, and I think it turned out really well, although there were some mistakes along the way as usual. So to start off with, I selected 2 of the papers, and then I just used a mixture of PVA glue and water to stick them down. First of all, though, I cut the papers up into 4s. So I started off by tearing the paper and ended up tearing it wrong. So as you can see here, just ripping all the piece of paper. And so in the end I decided to use scissors. And I'm just cutting them up into small squares, and then I am going to stick them on in a pattern. So if you're watching this at home and you sometimes feel like you don't know what you're doing, or that things go wrong and that you're a disaster and that you can't be creative and you can't do things, just know that it goes wrong for everybody at some stage. And for me, it often goes wrong, but usually I just don't show you in my recordings. But because things went so wrong in this video, I thought it would be, funny and eye-opening for you to see that this kind of thing happens all the time, and also that you can still get a good finish even when things seem to go terribly wrong. Part of the fun is figuring out how to cover up your mistakes and to still make it a worthwhile product, or just doing crafting, being creative. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day how it turns out, because it's the process of doing it that makes a difference, I think. So now I'm just gluing onto the back side of the covers using some different gel plate prints. And I really liked these ones. They were created using plants from my friend's garden. So I quite like how the covers worked out in the end, even if it was wrong. And now here is some footage of me trying to clean up a little bit of the absolute chaos that I have created around me. And next I am going to be making some tags with some of the leftover parts of the storybook kit. And these tags are actually from someone else's kit. I'm not sure who, but it could be Tracy Fox. And they were given to me by my mum for me to make creations on. So I'm just using those backgrounds, and then I am just very intuitively picking things out, sticking them on, incorporating some of the images from the digital kit and also some of the gel plate printing papers that I'd created that I'd used on the covers and on the inside covers. And I'm also using some of the journal kit papers that I printed out wrong, just using them as collage papers to add to my tags. And I'm also using some little sentiments that I made for another project, just to add some interest onto the tags. And I am going round the edges with a bit of inking as well. There's some Tim Holtz Distress ink. You get a little bit of a view of my messy workstation there, surrounded by chaos as always. So on this one I decided to use one of the images as a pocket to create a pocket onto the tag, and I just used some double-sided tape to make that into a pocket, and I used this little mini tag that was made out of an old Christmas card, covered that up and made that into a little miniature tag to put in the pocket. So here are all the tags that I've made, just to add in. So next comes the confused sewing portion, where I try and sew together my signature. That's me confusedly watching and rewinding and rewatching a YouTube video on how to do it. Realising then that I have got 2 little holes, or too many, I can't quite decide, and that the thread is coming out the wrong way. And this is me deciding, can I be bothered to take it all apart again or not? So this is me basically thinking about that for some time. And in the end, I decided to just go for it. And here we are. Me struggling with all the string getting tied up into a big knot. This happened quite a few times, despite the fact that I did try running the thread along some wax. So eventually I managed to sew the signatures together, and they were very loose and insecure. So then this is at the point where I realised that I wouldn't be able to do the cover as I had expected. So I'm trying to find out a way of attaching it through a Coptic binding, which I've never done before. And so this is me confusedly watching a video, trying to figure out how to do it and deciding that I'm going to give it a try. Punching holes in my cover, and then later figuring out that I can't do it. But these are all things that are just learning curves. Now we've got some footage that was gone missing. I filmed myself trying to sew the covers on and such, but that footage has disappeared, as is in keeping with this video. So now you will find that my book is all fastened together. I used a piece of card to fasten the two covers together and just tried to fasten it together in the traditional way that I usually do. And now I'm just going through and reinforcing all the pages that need reinforcing with gel plate prints, because some of the pages were quite loose because of my shoddy spine fixing. And then I decided to try going round the edges of some of my papers with these gel sticks, and they didn't blend as well as I expected them to, but I decided to just go around all of the papers and try and fit them together or link them together with a coloured border. So each page has got double page spread, has got colour, and it's just linked together that way. Usually a colour that's picked out from one of the papers that I've used. So I do that around the edge of all of my papers. And then I decide in my wisdom to use some of my images from my digital kit to make page tabs, which I have now decided that I'm just going to staple on. I think because everything has gone wrong and I'm actually pretty exhausted at this stage. This video was originally nearly 3 hours long, which I have obviously edited a lot out and cut short, but I don't think they look too bad. It's not like I'm going to be giving this as a gift or selling it. It's just for my own personal use, but in the end I actually quite like how this journal has turned out. And so now we're going to have a quick look through. So this is the cover. I put some pockets in with these big images from the digital kit, but then realised that I couldn't actually get anything in them because I'd stuck them down the wrong way. This is a little folio that I made. I haven't actually filmed myself making this. I was experimenting with what I could do with the papers, but this just gives you an idea of how versatile the digital kit is, and you can use it to make all sorts of different projects. So, and I really like this Siamese cat image, and that goes in this little holder thing that I made. And as you go through, you'll see that the journal kit includes these different tags that match up with some of the papers. Each of them has got a postcard that goes along with the papers. I made these little pockets using some things from the kit, and also for using some butterflies and different animals. Just to make these little pocket tab things. There's some more postcards and a tag that I made using some of the circle images. This flower fairy tag isn't part of the kit, it's just one that I had that seemed to go quite well with the colours. I quite like these little pirate images, and they're good for a little boy, maybe, or a little girl who likes pirates. And got lovely vintage images there. This is a little pocket I've made with tags in. The pocket is just made out of some cardboard packaging, and this is then affixed to an envelope, and I've just made a little flip pocket there. And I have got another little tag in there and some bits and bobs from the kit. And you can see as you flip it back over that the little owl is peeping through the window at the front. Got some more tags. That tag there, the string is actually from a tag from an item of clothing, but just reutilised it. Again, there's some more tabs there, and I've tried to, throughout, stick to using gel plates, prints that can be repeated throughout, to try and give it, there isn't really a coloured scheme, but to try and keep it in keeping all the way through. There's some little square tags there as well that I've decorated. So all these postcards and tags you can obviously use to journal onto or stick things onto, and then there's some more plain papers in there as well that you can use to journal on. There's a page that was a couple of pages that were stuck in upside down, so I've had to turn them the right way. I've had to stick stuff over them. And again, a pocket, and this time stuck on the correct way. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this very chaotic video, and thank you for watching.